I worked there.
I've been there a few times.
Driven past.
All right.
You worked there.
And so I serve in a lot of. Do I tell you about
Yeah.
that? Okay. Well, I serve in the wedding ministry. Some of you guys might have seen me with that. That was one of my first ministries. I still serve in the wedding ministry. Have served in the prison ministry. That was my very first ministry. And then wedding ministry. And I've ventured out into the community groups and where they have like something similar to this through the church. And Prestige. I serve in Prestige once a month. We do the prayer. I'm on the prayer team. And what else? Every Woman's Battle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one, but that's sexual purity class for single and married women. Sister Oshima and Pastor Taffy, they kind of started that up, and I just kind of took over about 3 years, a little over 3 years ago. This is my 4th year. And not very exciting. I work in a lab. Like I see a lot of I'm going natural. See the so, this month will make a year. Next month will make a year. 1 year of natural. And I didn't do the big chop, and so we still have about that much old stuff. And that's about it. Do you have any questions? All right.
Y'all will see later when we get to the Farsighted Vision assignment why I asked her to come be my vision speaker.
I love vision. God gave. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay. So I'm honored to be with you ladies. I love talking about the word. That's my. If you want to get me excited, I rarely get excited, but when I start talking about the word, oh my God. Yeah, I'm super excited about the word. I love the word. I love people that love the word, so it's always a pleasure to be able to get to share or to kind of to get into that. So what is vision? It's the ability to see yourself with something more or greater than where you are right now.
Say that one more time.
It's the ability to see yourself with something more or greater or farther than where you are right now. Can I ask questions during this time, or just kind of like
Yeah.
How much time we got? 5, 10?
You have about
5.
7, 8 or 8 minutes, and
Okay.
then we'll get to a point
Okay.
where we can talk about
Okay.
it. I want
Okay,
to
cool.
get through this,
All
but
right.
repeat that one more time. Ability
no
to see
problem.
yourself with something more, greater.
Or farther
Okay.
than where you are right now.
Okay.
Okay. So, and who and where does vision come from? There's a lot of places vision can come from, right? But where's the right vision is what the question is. This is like, your vision should start with the Holy Spirit. Always. And that should start from the inside. It can't be my vision. It can't be Denise's vision. Because if it is, I'm only going to be pursuing something that is not ordained for me. And that'll only end up in frustration,
So good.
disappointment. And so you can't pursue, and you'll always be trying to check with somebody else, and so see what they got or what's going on with them, instead of going to your secret place, getting from the source of where vision begins.
Yeah.
And so vision comes from God, right? And so why or why doesn't vision come? That's a real big question. If anybody's ever been frustrated, or the scripture that always says, hope deferred makes the heart grow sick, or become sick. You've been praying and probably confessing. Maybe sometimes when you're up, you're doing all this stuff, you're going full force, but then you kind of get
Fuzzy.
Right, yeah. You're like, I need to go back to the eye doctor and get some more vision, Like Helen Keller said, it's funny that she says, y'all probably have heard the quote that she says, the greatest tragedies in life are people with sight, with no vision. And so vision is not just what you see, just like faith is not just what you see. It's actually what you have on the inside. And I don't know if you remember that series of the 7 steps to answer prayer. In order to see yourself with what God promised, you have to see yourself with that. And that's a process to get your soul anchored. We know we receive by grace what God has already promised, but in order to receive that, you have to receive it on the inside. And so you have to meditate on the word. It's not by those works, but it's to get you anchored. So when the distractions come, the disappointment, the delay, seeming delay comes, you won't be derailed or sidetracked. And so we just anchor ourselves in the word and what God's promised first. And so the key to not getting frustrated when it doesn't show up right away is to get, first you got to get instruction. Is this for me? And be like, okay, is this God's promise for me? And so certain things we know, according to the word, you have health, like you were saying, the attack about the fibroids. But you have or prosperity, or the husband, or happiness, or all those things are promises of the Lord. Or but where to go to college might not be there. Or where do I take this job? Might not be there. Or is this the job that you have for me to get the increase? You have to go into that secret place to get that from God.
So, that number 3?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that answer again?
Why doesn't it come is because you haven't gotten it from the source. And it doesn't come because of distractions and not being focused.
So all 3 of those.
Oh, yes.
Not getting it from the source.
Yeah, you got to get
distractions.
instructions. Then distractions will cause you to kind of like if you turn your paper on the other side, real quick, if you turn your paper on the other side, it's nothing on there, right? I'm going to tell you to focus on the paper. Focus on a point on that paper.
Yeah, it's something on the other side of their paper.
Okay, all right. See this? Can you guys focus? Can you get a point on it? That if I do this, I say focus. Oh, that's good. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Can you get a focus? Mm-hmm. When you're single-minded, that draws all the attention to all this other stuff. Or you can have that busy thing. I'm going to say focus on a circle. People are like, which one? And so that's a lot of us, our lives are like that. Mm-hmm. And so whenever you start, you're like, you're all over the place. So, but you can't accomplish a purpose. Your dreams, your vision has to be on purpose. It has to be deliberate in order for you to be able to achieve what God has promised. You have to do this on purpose. You have to do it deliberately, and with action. Those 3 things. It has to be on purpose, deliberate, and with action. Because if not, you're only going to be spread too thin. And whenever you're like that, you're tired, you're frustrated, and you're like, I don't know what to do. And so you have to first start. This is a starting point. Pick one, all right, and make a bit. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get there.
All right.
You're doing good.
All right. So, how can we improve? That kind of goes along with what I was just saying right there. You have to make a plan. You have to have a plan. And I won't really go into that one too much because it's just kind of limited time. But we'll just to kind of focus on how can I expand, focus, or change my vision. And it has to getting instruction from God. He says, I will lead you with mine eye. He says there's so many scriptures on the purpose and plan of God for your life, and you want to look those up because and get like, okay, God does want to show me which way to go. I am the Lord your God who leads you by the way that you should go, and who will teach you to profit. He'll show you how to not waste time, energy, and resources. He'll show you how to do all that. And so it's just like, okay, how can I expand? Don't think small. Don't have small thinking. And then think out of the box. And I see a lot of ladies in here that I'm pretty sure that y'all look like y'all think out of the box. If you're with her, I know you think out of the box.
Say that.
Okay? And so don't limit God. You're only limited by what you can think.
Yeah.
And if you will always consider, like, God, you're so good, and being thankful for your progress and not getting discouraged when you don't see it come to pass right away. Because if not, whenever you're starting to get ungrateful, progress stops. So you have to remain grateful for and content. Where, like Pastor was saying the other night, being content but not stagnant. It's not to say you're gonna stay there. You're gonna grow, but you being content in all things, like Paul said. You have to remain grateful and be like, okay, I'm happy to be here, Lord, but I'm so excited about what you have next. But I'm not gonna live in tomorrow so much. But I'm gonna be thankful today, and I'm gonna still pursue tomorrow. I'm gonna walk with you and be as a barefooted priest and just be guided by you, Lord. You're gonna show me which way to go, and just trust that, declare that. Make sure you. I'm so excited. I'm gonna save the rest of that for the vision.
Okay, cool. There was a comment, and if there are any questions on what she said right now, because she does have an assignment that she's going to go in a little bit more detail, I think, in these particular points when she explains the actual assignment. But if anybody want to comment or question about just this part so far?
Yes, I want to go back to the focus point with the paper.
Right. Okay.
That dot jumped out at me.
Amen.
About 2 months ago, I went skiing. And that was my out-of-the-box thing. I didn't know anything about the visionary thing then, but that was the out-of-the-box thing. That's my first time ever being away from my children, away from my parents, away from anybody as an adult, and doing something out of the box. So something that happened on the trip, we had to have a ski instructor. Nobody on the trip knew how to ski, so they had to teach us. So the guy was telling us, the key thing to skiing is your focal point. And I was like, the focal point? I said, this sounds familiar. So I'm like, okay, well, I think I know where it came from. But he said, the focal point. You have to find a spot at the bottom of the slope and keep your eye on that spot. If you take your eye off the slope and you look somewhere else, you're going to easily go that place where your eyes go, no matter if your skis are going straight or anything. And it never failed. Every single time, if I'm going straight, there was a focal point there. This is what I'm supposed to be focusing on. Somebody falls over here. I look down that way. I start to go this way. It was inevitable that it happened that way because your focal point is going that way. So naturally your body will go that way. So I was like, wow, okay, focal point. Another part to this, I just recently had a baby. Well, not really recent, 2 years ago, but something that they taught us in the Lamaze class was about having a focal point. Look for something on the wall to keep you focused on it, and it helps you breathe. So they said, okay, find a focal point. I really didn't want to find a focal point because I know what the room looked like. I was like, I don't know what it is. So they said, you can even make your partner the focal point. Anytime I was looking at my son's father while I was going through labor, I was able to breathe. He was able to talk to me, guiding me, and it was more like how the Holy Spirit will guide you. If you're making him your focal point, that mouthpiece for him and hearing only him in your voice, your ear, will help guide you to exactly where you need to be. So I noticed that anytime he wasn't in the room or anything, I'm panicking. I'm like, no, I can't do this. Like, no. But just that focal point is so important, and I see where a lot of places that I kind of veer off to the left or veer off to the right or just stay there and just not do nothing because I'm not focusing. And this picture right here, in general, it's a lot of different things on there. And one other thing that I have had issues with is trying to focus on everything on the board instead of one point at a time. And yeah, that'll really jack you up.
I think that's a great segue. I want to go ahead and get into the assignment that we're going to do here, and then so that Bridget can finish by telling about the long-term assignment that we can work over in the next upcoming months.